Dedication. To all the children who dare to dream big, face their fears with unwavering faith, and seek wisdom and courage in the face of life's. This story is a testament to the transformative power of believing in something more significant than yourselves, a reminder that even in the most fantastic lands, the most profound truths are found in the love and guidance of our Heavenly Father. May the adventures of the Tin Woodman, the Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow in this retelling of their journey inspire you to embrace your unique gifts and talents, to seek understanding beyond the surface of things, and to discover the incredible strength that lies within your heart. May it remind you, as it reminds them, that even amidst uncertainty and fear, you are never truly alone. God's love surrounds you, empowering you to overcome any obstacle, rise above despair, and discover the unwavering courage that resides within your soul. This book is dedicated to you, the brave-hearted, the hopeful dreamers, the young believers who know, deep down, that with God, all things are possible. Just as Dorothy found her way back home, so will you always find your way back to the path of love, hope, and faith. May this story serve as a guiding light, a beacon of hope, and comfort in times of uncertainty, a constant reminder that the marvelous adventures lie not just in the fantastical lands of Oz but in the journey of faith and self-discovery that awaits you in your own life. Remember always that the power of the Holy Spirit is within you, guiding and empowering you each step of the way. Let this tale ignite your imagination and inspire you to never give up on your dreams, to always believe in the power of prayer, and always to seek the light of God's love to guide your steps, now and forevermore. You can overcome any fear with faith, love, and self-discipline, as the characters within these pages have demonstrated. Remember His promise, "For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, and love, and a sound mind," 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. This story is a testament to that enduring promise, a symbol of hope and faith designed to illuminate the path before you. May it always be a source of comfort and inspiration. Chapter 1: The Emerald City's Whispers. The swirling vortex spat Dorothy onto a less yellow path than she remembered. The familiar poppy field, usually a vibrant splash of crimson, was muted, and the colors dulled as if washed in a perpetual twilight. The air hung heavy and thick with a strange, almost melancholic scent, a far cry from the cheerful, if slightly odd, aroma of Oz she recalled from her previous visit. This Oz felt different. It seemed older, somehow, burdened by a secret sorrow that clung to the air. Ahead, she saw them, the Tin Woodman, the Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow. But they were not the same. Though still gleaming, the Tin Woodman looked weary, his movements stiff and hesitant, not merely due to rust but a more profound, internal rigidity. The Cowardly Lion, instead of his usual boisterous self, hunched under a burden of unseen weight, his mane drooping, his usually bright eyes clouded with a deep-seated fear that went beyond the fear of the unknown. And the Scarecrow, usually a cheery, if somewhat naive, fellow, stood slumped against a gnarled tree, his straw limbs seeming to sag under the weight of unspoken anxieties. "Dorothy!" The lion's voice was a barely audible whisper, devoid of its usual playful roar. "What's wrong?" Dorothy asked, her heart sinking as she approached them. The land itself seemed to mirror their distress. The vibrant Emerald City in the distance pulsed with a muted glow, its normally joyous light dimmed, as if a shadow had fallen over it, both physical and spiritual. The Tin Woodman spoke first, his voice a series of metallic clicks and whirs that struggled to form words. "It's more than just a heart, Dorothy. It's a void. A hollowness that no amount of oil can fill." He gestured to his chest, a gesture that seemed to contain more sadness than metal could express. "I've helped others and shown compassion, but the emptiness remains. It's a spiritual ache, a longing for something more." The Scarecrow echoed the Tin Woodman's sentiments, his voice a dry rustle. "It's not just brains, Dorothy. It's understanding. Purpose. I can solve riddles, but I don't understand why. I can see the intricate workings of this land, but I don't understand its soul. There's a spiritual puzzle to this place and to my existence within it that I cannot solve." His straw head drooped, the weight of his existential crisis heavy upon him. The Cowardly Lion's confession was the most heart-wrenching. "It's not just courage, Dorothy. It's faith. Believe me, I've faced my fears, but the doubts remain. I doubt my worth. I doubt God's presence in this strange and often frightening land. I doubt even my capacity for good." He looked down at his paws, his fear palpable, heavy, and choking. Dorothy knelt before them, her own heart heavy with their burdens. She understood. She knew the feeling of being lost, questioning one's worth, and seeking a deeper understanding of purpose. She'd faced her fears on her journey to Oz, and she knew that their struggles transcended the simple lack of a heart, courage, and brains. Their spiritual needs and struggles were rooted in faith, or the lack thereof. "God's love is here, in Oz, just as it is in Kansas," Dorothy said softly, her voice resonating with conviction. "His Spirit gives us power, love, and self-discipline. It conquers fear. It fills the emptiness. It guides us to understanding." She quoted the verse from 2 Timothy, which had become her anchor during her many trials, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear but of power and love and a sound mind." The words hung in the heavy air, a beacon of hope in the darkening landscape. The muted colors of Oz seemed to brighten slightly as if responding to the simple truth Dorothy had spoken. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, conveying comfort and promise. The journey to Emerald City would be arduous, but this time, it was a journey of faith, not just of physical distance. It was a journey towards the heart, courage, and understanding that only God could genuinely bestow. The path ahead was not clear, the shadows long and ominous. The Emerald City, though shimmering in the distance, felt distant and almost unreachable. Yet, something had shifted. A sense of hope, frail but present, flickered in the eyes of the Tin Woodman, the Lion, and the Scarecrow. They were not merely seeking physical enhancement but a more profound spiritual transformation. They were seeking God within Oz's strange, beautiful, and sometimes terrifying magic. As they began their journey, the landscape reflected their internal shift. The ominous undertones still lingered, but alongside them bloomed unexpected pockets of color. A small patch of bluebells, impossibly vibrant against the muted landscape, sprang up alongside the path. A single sunflower turned its face to the dimming sun, offering a moment of cheerful defiance against the oppressive atmosphere. Even the air seemed to lighten, the melancholic scent fading to be replaced by a subtle sweetness, a hint of God's grace permeating the strange magic of Oz. The journey to Emerald City would be fraught with trials, each challenge designed to test their faith and resolve. The Wicked Witch of the West, always a threat, would present a new and more insidious danger, using doubt and temptation to undermine their spirits. Once a simple obstacle, the forest becomes a labyrinth of shadows, each corner concealing a fresh temptation. But Dorothy was not alone, and neither were her companions. They were bound together by their shared quest and a newfound understanding of God's love and unwavering support. Their journey would be a testament to faith, courage, and the transformative power of prayer. The first step was the most difficult. The Scarecrow, burdened by years of unanswered questions, looked up to the darkening sky. He wasn't just seeking brains, he was yearning for wisdom, for a spiritual connection to the very essence of Oz. He needed to understand God's plan to perceive the divine purpose behind the fantastical land before him. His journey would be one of intellectual exploration, but more importantly, a search for spiritual guidance, a plea for understanding beyond the comprehension of mere mortal minds. The cowardly lion, normally bold in facing his fears of the unknown, discovered a deeper and more insidious fear, the fear of failure. This wasn't about facing a roaring beast or overcoming a physical challenge. This was a fear of failing in God's eyes and of being found unworthy of His love and grace. His journey would be through humility, a painful but necessary path toward understanding the true nature of courage, trust in God's strength rather than merely the absence of fear. His heart needed to be strengthened, not just by physical bravery, but through unshakable faith. The Tin Woodman, with his shining metal exterior, faced a different kind of deficiency. It wasn't just a heart he lacked, it was empathy. He needed to learn not just the physical mechanics of love but the spiritual essence of compassion, the ability to feel and understand the pain of others. His journey would be one of service, a lesson in selflessness and compassion that transcended the simple desire for a beating heart. His emotional development would be tested, and his ability to truly connect with others, to offer comfort and understanding without expecting anything in return, would be the measure of his success. Dorothy, their unwavering beacon of faith, acted as a catalyst for change. She gently guided her friends, reminding them of God's love and constant presence, weaving her faith into the very fabric of their journey. Her unwavering belief was a source of comfort and a powerful example of how faith, even in the face of adversity, could conquer the darkest shadows. Her gentle guidance would be essential to their transformation, a reminder that even the most daunting fears can be conquered through unwavering faith in God's love. Their journey would not only transform Oz, but it would transform them as well. It would be a journey of faith, of overcoming doubt and discovering the transformative power of God's unwavering love. The path ahead was uncertain, but with God's grace and Dorothy's unwavering guidance, they were ready to face whatever challenges Oz might throw. The adventure had begun, and this time, their hearts, courage, and minds were all at stake. The Scarecrow, perched precariously on a crumbling stone wall overlooking a withered field of what might once have been vibrant sunflowers, felt the familiar ache of incompleteness. It wasn't the absence of a brain that plagued him, not in the way the wizard had implied. He possessed a surprising aptitude for problem-solving, a sharp wit that allowed him to decipher riddles and navigate the complexities of Oz's peculiar geography. No, the emptiness was more bottomless, a spiritual void whispering of an unfulfilled purpose, a destiny unknown. He gazed at the emerald city shimmering in the distance, its emerald glow dimmed, a faint echo of its former brilliance. The city, once a beacon of hope, now felt like an enigma, a puzzle box with a missing key. It wasn't just the physical journey that lay before them, it was a spiritual quest, a pilgrimage to uncover the deeper meaning behind Oz's enchanting fade. This journey wasn't about reaching the wizard, it was about reaching God, about finding the wisdom that only a divine hand could bestow. He remembered Dorothy's words, her unwavering faith ringing in his ears, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Those words echoed within him, a faint melody in the symphony of his doubts. He craved understanding, not just of Oz's mechanics, but of its spiritual essence, of the divine blueprint behind this fantastical world. Suddenly, a tiny, chattering creature scurried past his feet, a munchkin, no older than 5, clutching a wilted flower. The child looked up at him, its eyes reflecting the city's muted glow. "The city's sad," the munchkin whispered, his voice barely audible above the whispering wind. "It used to sing, but now it only sighs." The Scarecrow knelt, his straw limbs creaked slightly. "Why do you think it's sad?" he asked gently, surprised by his capacity for empathy, a feeling he hadn't understood before their journey with Dorothy. The child shook its head, its gaze fixed on the distant city. "The Glinda told us the wicked witch's shadow fell upon it. She stole the joy," she said, "the happiness and the song. Insert the we hung our harps on the willow trees. The Glinda. The good witch of the south." The Scarecrow had always respected her wisdom, but now, her words carried a weight of new significance. The Wicked Witch's power wasn't merely physical, it was spiritual, an insidious darkness that had seeped into the very heart of Oz. And if the witch could steal the joy of the land, could she also steal the joy from his own heart? He remembered the stories the Munchkins had told him, tales of a time when Oz was a place of unbridled joy, where the laughter of its inhabitants echoed through its valleys and over its hills. He had always considered himself a scholar of Oz, understanding its intricate mechanisms and geographical quirks, but he had failed to understand its soul, its spiritual heart. His quest for brains had become a quest for wisdom, for understanding the underlying spiritual order of Oz, for comprehending the divine purpose behind it all. As he continued his journey toward Emerald City, he noticed subtle signs of a spiritual battle raging unseen. Withered flowers lay alongside resilient blooms that defied the darkness. Birdsong, once a cheerful chorus, was now a fractured melody punctuated by unsettling silences. He encountered other inhabitants of Oz, their stories reflecting the city's fading joy, a farmer whose crops were failing, a woodcutter burdened by despair, and a family of field mice fleeing their home. Each conversation revealed a deeper understanding of the spiritual malaise gripping the land, a darkness fueled by doubt and fear. The Scarecrow, however, refused to surrender to despair. He had learned that true wisdom wasn't just the accumulation of knowledge but the discerning of truth, the understanding of God's purpose within the chaos. He saw the faint glimmer of hope in the resilience of the flowers and the unwavering song of a lone robin. He found strength in Dorothy's unwavering faith, in her belief in God's love and unwavering support. He spent hours pondering a particular puzzle, a series of intricate carvings on a forgotten well, each symbol representing a different aspect of Oz's history. Still, when he focused on the divine symbolism, guided by Dorothy's gentle reminders, the puzzle began to unfold before him. It wasn't a riddle of logic but a riddle of faith, a test of his spiritual understanding. The symbols pointed not just to the past but to the future, to the promise of renewal and restoration. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, the Scarecrow stumbled upon a hidden grove. In its center sat an old woman, her face etched with wisdom and serenity. She was unlike any inhabitant he'd met before. Her presence radiated a calm, a deep connection to the spiritual heart of Oz. This was no ordinary inhabitant, but perhaps, he thought, a spiritual guide. "You seek wisdom, young one," the woman said, her voice like the gentle rustling of leaves. "True wisdom is not found in books or riddles, but in the heart." She spoke of God's unwavering love, prayer's power, and the importance of finding peace amidst the storm. She said of the need to see beyond the physical realm, to perceive the divine hand that guided the world, even within Oz's strange magic. The conversation opened a new dimension to his understanding. The Scarecrow didn't only need a brain, he needed faith, a spiritual connection to the divine wisdom that governed Oz. His quest wasn't just about solving puzzles and understanding the profound spiritual truth beneath Oz's fantastical exterior. As he left the grove, the Scarecrow felt a sense of peace settle over him. The Emerald City still lay before him, but now, he approached it not with fear, but with a renewed sense of purpose, a sense of faith. The journey ahead would be challenging, but he knew that with God's guidance, and the unwavering support of his friends, he would find the wisdom he sought, not just in his understanding of Oz, but in his understanding of God's love and purpose. Emerald City was no longer a distant goal, but a symbol of spiritual awakening, a testament to the transformative power of faith. His journey had just begun, but he was no longer just a scarecrow, he was a pilgrim, searching for spiritual truth in the heart of Oz. The puzzle was complex, but the answer, he now knew, lay not only in his intellect, but in his faith. The cowardly lion, his mane a tangled mess of fear and uncertainty, lagged his companions. The Emerald City, a shimmering mirage in the distance, held no allure for him. It was not the physical journey that intimidated him, but the daunting prospect of facing the wizard, of exposing his deepest, most shameful secret, his cowardice. He wasn't afraid of the wicked witch's wrath, or the dangers of Oz's unpredictable landscapes. His fear was far more insidious, a gnawing worm of self-doubt that whispered insidious lies in his heart. He doubted his own worthiness, not just in the eyes of the wizard, but in the eyes of God. He fell behind the scarecrow, his slow, hesitant steps echoing the turmoil within him. He'd witnessed the scarecrow's transformation, the way faith had illuminated his quest for wisdom. He'd seen the strength that bloomed from within the Tin Woodman, a heart filled not just with compassion, but with the unwavering love of God. He wondered, with a pang of despair, if he, too, was capable of such a change. Could God truly love a coward? Could God find worth in someone so consumed by their own shortcomings? The forest deepened, casting long, menacing shadows that seemed to mock his fear. The air grew heavy with an oppressive silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of unseen creatures, each sound amplifying his anxiety. He felt utterly alone, lost in a labyrinth of his own making, a dark reflection of the turmoil within his heart. Doubt, like a relentless predator, stalked him, its shadow stretching long and menacing across his path. He stumbled, his paws sinking into the soft earth, his breath hitching in his throat. "I'm not worthy," he whispered, his voice barely audible above the rustling leaves. "I'm a disgrace. A coward. God wouldn't even want me." The words, once unspoken, now hung heavy in the air, a testament to the depth of his despair. Suddenly, a soft hooting broke the silence. Perched on a branch above him, an old owl regarded him with wise, knowing eyes. Its feathers, the color of twilight, seemed to absorb the shadows, casting a faint glow in the gloom. "Lost, little lion," the owl hooted softly, its voice surprisingly gentle. The lion flinched, startled by the sound, but found himself unable to flee. He slumped against the base of a massive oak tree, his large head bowed low. "Lost," he admitted, his voice thick with shame, "lost in myself." The owl remained silent for a moment, observing him with patient understanding. Then, it said, "Fear is a cage, little lion, but it is a cage you have built yourself. You carry the weight of your expectations, not God's." The lion looked up, surprised by the owl's words.
Expectations, he echoed.
Yes, the owl replied.
You believe you must be brave, strong, fearless. You strive for an unattainable ideal.
You have forgotten the comfort in seeking God's grace for every moment, every decision. But God's love isn't contingent upon your strength, or your courage, or your lack thereof.
His love is unconditional.
The owl's words were like a balm to his wounded spirit. He had always measured his worth based on his ability to conquer his fear, to live up to an impossible standard of courage. He tried to fill the void within himself with the illusion of strength, when he should have been seeking the true strength which comes from God.
But I am a coward, the lion insisted, desperately clinging to his self-imposed label.
And God loves you still, the owl said, its voice firm and unwavering.
Humility is not weakness, little lion.
It is the recognition of your need for God's grace. It is the first step towards true bravery. The owl then began to tell him a story, a parable of a tiny sparrow, so small and insignificant, that it had dared to sing its song in the face of a raging storm. The storm did not cease, it raged on, yet the sparrow continued its song, a tiny beacon of hope amidst the chaos. The sparrow was not unaffected by the storm, it was buffeted by the wind, drenched by the rain, yet it continued to sing, its song a testament to its unwavering faith. The lion realized that the sparrow's bravery wasn't in its ability to control the storm, but in its willingness to sing amidst it. Your courage isn't about the absence of fear, the owl continued, but about your response to it. It is about trusting in God's strength, even when your own feels weak. It is about having faith, even when surrounded by darkness. As the owl spoke, the forest seemed to lighten, the shadows receding, the oppressive silence replaced by the gentle murmur of the wind. A sliver of moonlight pierced the canopy, illuminating a path ahead. The lion felt a shift within himself, a subtle yet profound change. The weight of his self-doubt began to lift, replaced by a tentative sense of hope.
He wasn't magically cured of his cowardice. The fear still lingered, a faint tremor beneath his brave new resolve.
But it no longer held him captive. He now understood that true courage wasn't about the absence of fear, but about facing it head-on, relying on God's strength to guide his steps. He was still a lion, but now, he felt empowered, not by his own might, but by the boundless love and power of God. He rose to his feet, a renewed strength coursing through his limbs, and started walking towards the Emerald City, not with confidence, yet with a determined step, his heart filled with a quiet faith that whispered, "God is with me."
The journey wasn't easy.
He encountered other obstacles, other moments of doubt and fear. But with each challenge, he remembered the owl's words, the sparrow's song, and the unwavering love of God. He found himself relying less on his own strength and more on the divine support that he now understood to be his unwavering ally. He even helped guide other frightened creatures, offering words of comfort and hope he had previously been unable to offer himself. He discovered his courage was not in the absence of fear, but in the faith which allowed him to overcome his fear, sharing the strength he found in God with those in need. His heart, once heavy with self-doubt, now beat with a quiet strength fueled by faith in God's unwavering love. He was no longer the cowardly lion, but a lion in faith, a testament to the transformative power of God's grace. He walked forward, into the light, knowing that even in the darkest moments, God's love would guide his path. The Emerald City shimmered ahead, but now, it was not a symbol of his fears, but a beacon of hope, a promise of the peace and understanding he sought. And with each step, his faith grew stronger, his heart lighter, his courage steadily, persistently blooming in the very heart of his fear. The journey continued, but the cowardly lion was finding his heart in faith. The Tin Woodman, his polished metal gleaming under the Emerald City's shimmering light, felt a curious emptiness despite the celebration around him. He had a heart, a miraculous gift from the wizard, but it felt incomplete. It beat steadily, regularly, but it lacked a certain warmth, a resonance he had glimpsed in the lion's newfound courage and the scarecrow's burgeoning wisdom. He'd received a heart, but he hadn't yet truly understood its purpose. The wizard's magic had provided the physical organ, but the true essence of a heart, he was beginning to realize, was something more profound. It was about feeling, about empathy, about connecting with others on a level deeper than gears and hinges. His journey to Emerald City had been a lesson in compassion, a poignant series of encounters that had begun to shape the heart within him. He remembered a small field mouse, caught in a thorny bush, its tiny legs entangled and crying out in distress. The lion, still grappling with his own fear, had hesitated, but the Tin Woodman, without a moment's thought, had carefully freed the creature, his metal fingers surprisingly gentle. The mouse, surprisingly, nuzzled his hand before scampering away, its tiny squeak a silent expression of gratitude. It wasn't a grand act of heroism, but the simple act of kindness ignited something within him, a warmth that spread through his metallic frame. He realized that empathy wasn't about grand gestures, but about small acts of love, offered without expectation of reward. Further along their journey, they had come across a family of munchkins, their small cottage damaged by a recent storm. Their faces, etched with worry and exhaustion, spoke volumes of their plight. The Scarecrow, with his newly acquired wisdom, offered words of comfort and encouragement, but it was the Tin Woodman who quietly, efficiently, began repairing their home. He worked tirelessly, his movements precise and purposeful, his heart pounding not with anxiety, but with a quiet determination to alleviate their suffering. He felt no need for thanks, no need for recognition. The satisfaction came from the simple act of helping those in need, from seeing the relief wash over the munchkins' faces. His journey wasn't just about helping strangers, it was also about witnessing the compassion of others. He saw the lion, despite his lingering anxieties, extend a paw to a lost lamb, guiding it back to its mother with a gentleness that surprised even him. He saw the Scarecrow, using his newfound wisdom, to mediate a dispute between two quarreling birds, finding a solution that pleased both parties. He realized that compassion wasn't a rare gift, it was a seed planted within each of them, nurtured by their faith and blossoming into beautiful acts of kindness. The experiences weren't always easy. He encountered individuals who, despite their hardships, radiated an extraordinary spirit of compassion. A frail old woman, her home meager yet clean, shared her meager supper with the travelers, her smile more radiant than the Emerald City itself. Her kindness, offered freely despite her own struggles, resonated deeply within him. Another time, they met a group of children who, although orphaned and being homeless, spent their days caring for stray animals, sharing their limited food with them. These interactions were powerful lessons, a demonstration that love and empathy could bloom in even the most challenging circumstances. They showed him that true compassion wasn't about material wealth or social standing, but about a willingness to offer a helping hand, a listening ear, a kind word, irrespective of the circumstances. One particularly poignant memory was of a young girl, no older than 10, who had lost her family in the Wicked Witch's reign. She lived alone in a small, dilapidated hut on the edge of the forest, her only companions a small, ragged doll and a family of squirrels. Yet, despite her profound loss and her lonely existence, she greeted them with unwavering cheerfulness. She shared the few berries she had gathered, her eyes shining with kindness. She didn't complain about her circumstances, instead, she expressed gratitude for what little she possessed, her spirit overflowing with resilience and faith. The Tin Woodman found himself profoundly moved by her quiet strength. This encounter ignited a fire within his metallic heart, an even greater appreciation for the resilience and faith displayed in the face of hardship. The journey to Emerald City wasn't merely a physical pilgrimage, it became a spiritual journey of self-discovery, a path towards a deeper understanding of empathy and compassion. He came to realize that having a heart wasn't about possessing the physical organ, it was about nurturing a spirit of kindness, generosity, and love. It was about extending empathy to others, understanding their struggles, and offering support without reservation. His interactions weren't merely acts of kindness, they were expressions of his burgeoning faith, demonstrating the transformative power of God's love. Each act of compassion, however small, contributed to his inner transformation, helping him move beyond simply having a heart to truly understand its profound meaning. His encounters showed him that true empathy wasn't about fixing everyone's problems, but about offering a listening ear, a warm presence, and a helping hand whenever possible. He learned to see the divine spark in everyone he met, recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of everyone, regardless of their circumstances. His heart, once empty, now overflowed with a deep sense of connection, a profound love for humanity that resonated with his newly found understanding of God's boundless compassion. He now understood that empathy wasn't a passive emotion, it was an active choice, a conscious decision to put aside self-interest and focus on the well-being of others. The Emerald City, once a distant glimmer of hope, now shone with a new light, a reflection of the warmth and compassion blooming within the Tin Woodman's heart.
He wasn't just a collection of gears and pipes anymore, he was a testament to the transformative power of love and empathy, a beacon of hope in the heart of Oz, and a living example of how God's love can transform even the most unlikely of hearts into instruments of divine compassion. His journey wasn't over, the path to complete empathy was a lifelong pursuit, but he knew, with unwavering certainty, that with God's grace, he would continue to grow, to learn, and to love. His metallic frame, once cold and rigid, now radiated a warmth that touched everyone he encountered, a testament to the power of a heart filled with God's love and the profound understanding of empathy. The journey to Emerald City had been a journey of the heart, a journey of faith, and a journey of incredible personal growth. He was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead, armed not with brute strength, but with the unwavering strength of God's love. The Emerald City shimmered in the distance, a symbol not just of the end of his journey, but of a new beginning, filled with the promise of continued growth and service to God, through acts of boundless love and understanding. Dorothy, small but resolute, stood amidst the jubilant throng celebrating their arrival in Emerald City. The air hummed with festive energy, a kaleidoscope of vibrant colors and joyous sounds, but a quiet strength emanated from the girl in the gingham dress. While the Tin Woodman wrestled with the nuances of his newly acquired heart, the Cowardly Lion grappled with the unexpected weight of true courage, and the Scarecrow pondered the depths of his newfound wisdom. Dorothy observed them all with a gentle understanding. She saw not just their outward achievements, but the inner struggles that still lingered, the shadows that even the magic of Oz hadn't entirely erased. Her heart, filled with unwavering faith, recognized the whispers of doubt and fear that still haunted her friends. She understood their anxieties, their insecurities. She had faced her own fears on the yellow brick road, and emerged stronger, her faith serving as her guiding light. Now, standing in the heart of the Emerald City, she felt a powerful urge to extend that same guidance to those who had journeyed alongside her. She approached the Tin Woodman first, his polished metal gleaming under the Emerald City's lights, yet his expression held a hint of unease. "You have a heart, my friend," she said softly, her voice carrying the gentle warmth of the spring sun. "But a heart isn't just about feeling, it's about giving. It's about sharing God's love with others." She recalled his gentle touch as he freed the trapped mouse, his tireless efforts in rebuilding the Munchkins' home, the quiet compassion he had shown everyone they encountered. "God gave you this heart," she continued, "to be a vessel of his boundless love, to show compassion, to share kindness. Remember the joy you felt when you helped others?" The Tin Woodman, his gears whirring softly, looked down at his hands. Dorothy's words resonated deeply, awakening a sense of purpose he hadn't fully grasped before. The physical heart was a miracle, but its true power lay in its ability to inspire acts of selfless love. He remembered the grateful eyes of the Munchkins, the quiet satisfaction he'd felt in alleviating their suffering. The heart, he realized, wasn't simply an organ, it was a conduit for God's love. Turning her attention to the Cowardly Lion, whose newfound courage still felt tentative, Dorothy smiled. "Bravery isn't the absence of fear, my dear lion," she explained, "it's facing your fears with faith. It's trusting in God's strength, even when your own feels weak." She recalled how the lion, despite his initial trepidation, had protected her and her friends from danger, how he had shown surprising gentleness towards the lost lamb. His bravery hadn't come from a sudden surge of self-confidence, but from a growing trust in God's protective presence. Dorothy reminded him of the many times he had stepped forward in spite of his apprehension. Each time he acted despite his fear, his courage grew stronger, his faith increasing with every step. She spoke of God's strength, present in their journey, guiding them, watching over them, constantly giving strength when they were weary. He realized that true courage was a manifestation of his faith, a reflection of God's unwavering presence in his life. Lastly, Dorothy approached the Scarecrow, his patched face alight with a thoughtful expression. "Wisdom isn't just about knowledge, my friend," she said softly, "it's about understanding, about applying what you know with empathy and love. It's about seeking God's guidance in all you do." She pointed out his thoughtful words to the quarreling birds, the quiet counsel he had offered to those in need. His newfound wisdom wasn't simply a collection of facts, but a way to help those around him to make better choices. Dorothy affirmed the wisdom which he showed in offering guidance, and his acts of kindness. His wisdom was a reflection of God's grace. Dorothy's words were not merely platitudes, they were born from her own faith, her own journey through fear and doubt. She reminded them that their struggles weren't unique, that everyone, even the most seemingly courageous individuals, faced moments of fear and self-doubt.
She spoke of her own anxieties, her own moments of uncertainty, and how her faith had carried her through. Her courage wasn't born from absence of fear but from the unwavering belief in God's loving presence. Her simple words were imbued with a profound understanding of faith, love, and the transformative power of God's grace. She spoke of the importance of community, of supporting each other, of carrying each other's burdens, of being a beacon of love to others who are struggling. Dorothy highlighted that true strength lies not in individual power, but in the supportive connection of God's grace, and the bonds of friendship and faith. The three friends, initially hesitant, slowly began to understand. Dorothy's gentle guidance, her unwavering faith, helped them to see their own journeys not as isolated struggles, but as interconnected paths toward a deeper understanding of themselves and their relationship with God. They began to reflect on the many times God's grace had been present in their journey, offering help when they were in danger, providing comfort in their fears, and showing them what it meant to love. It wasn't just about individual growth, it was about the collective strength, a bond forged in adversity, strengthened by shared faith, and nurtured by Dorothy's unwavering belief in God's boundless love and divine guidance. The Emerald City, with all its shimmering grandeur, seemed to fade into the background as they sat together, sharing stories of their trials and tribulations. Each story, as it unfolded, revealed the unseen hand of God working through their experiences, showing them the love of God through acts of selflessness, strength, and compassion. Their fears and anxieties began to diminish, replaced by a sense of peace and shared purpose. It was a quiet transformation, a shift in perspective, but one that was profound in its impact. Dorothy's belief in them, in God's plan for their lives, filled them with a sense of hope and confidence. The Emerald City's shimmer faded in comparison to the light emanating from their shared faith. The celebration in the Emerald City continued, but for the Tin Woodman, the Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow, the true celebration was the understanding they had gained, the inner peace they had found, and the strengthened bond of friendship they shared, all fueled by Dorothy's faith and unwavering belief in the transformative power of God's love. It was a celebration of faith, courage, and wisdom, a testament to the power of community and the boundless grace of God, all ignited by Dorothy's unwavering guiding light. The glittering spires of Emerald City were beautiful, but the radiance of their shared faith shone far brighter. Their journey had taken them to a place far beyond Emerald City. It had taken them to a place of understanding, of empathy, and of unwavering faith. It was a journey that had changed them all, a journey guided by Dorothy's quiet but profound faith in God.